Joining me today on Right, a production of Word and Mouth, where writing is delighting. Yes, that's exactly what we do here. And you can see on the right hand side, in fact, first of all, how's your weekend been? I hope it's been great. It's been fabulous here in Southport. We've had a comedy festival. We've had a festival of speed, which was great. Everybody literally off their faces because there was lots and lots of old cars there climaxing in a 5 p.m. parade of these incredibly ancient but very valuable machines along the Victorian Boulevard that is the Street of Lord. If you haven't been to Southport, I recommend you come over. It's a lovely place to come and chill axe and come again in 364 days' time, and you'll be able to see all these fast cars. You get a bit slower by then because I'll be a year older. Anyway, today, right, like that. Very difficult to explain for social media because you're like, well, the first bit is WR and the second bit is RIGHT. Otherwise, people won't know what to look for, and the whole thing will collapse like a big cryptocurrency house of cards. So, why so easy? So what we're going to do today, I'm just going to review a few websites from Product Hunt. Now, careful to say that. Product Hunt is where people post up-and-coming apps for you to vote on and try and hopefully give your custom to. And so I'm giving back to the startup community today by giving people a few suggestions as to how to write right for their app. So without further ado, I'm going to swap this over so you can see. Now, right, so this one, I'm going to go through this in some detail. It'll be quite quick, so don't worry. It's not like you have to dispense your lunch hour. I'll be about 5 minutes. This one is called Reform. And as we walk through these, how many have we got? 4 websites. It's going to become increasingly clear, increasingly quickly, that there are a lot of commonalities here. So when you're creating any sort of messaging, writing a script, writing an advert, writing a bus shelter, writing a letter, writing an email, all boils down to, oh, hang on a second, I've got a little bit of water here. Cheers. All boils down to knowing your objective and telling a story. Everything we do, privacy policy, FAQs page, write a letter to your grandma. It's all about story, writing a story. It's all about story. So beginning, middle, and end, right? You've got to give people a hook. You've got to give people a reason to read. Doesn't matter if it's granny, doesn't matter if it's customer, doesn't matter if granny is a customer. They want to know what's in it for me, right? So I'm going to start off with Reform, and I mentioned about this on LinkedIn. So if you haven't found me on LinkedIn yet, if somehow you're watching this, I can't imagine why you will be in a million years, but somehow if you're watching this on YouTube, for example, get over to LinkedIn, because over the weekend I posted on this because I was really fascinated by what would actually drive people to move away from a more conventional, fusty form system. Now, there are lots out there. I started my form journey back in the days where you had to write your own script. And then I moved on to Gravity Forms on WordPress, which was great. And it's constantly evolving. I've got the lifetime developer license for it. And they've done so much stuff there. Conditional logic now. So, you know, if somebody answers question A, it'll serve them down a different road. If they answer question B, it'll take them down a different journey, different path, choose your own adventure. That's great. And then you've got things like Typeform, which purportedly make the experience that much more enjoyable. But there's a lot of room for improvement, as if you've tried to fill in a form on a mobile device, you'll know that every single experience is totally different. Most of them are worse than the one before. It's like we're going down this rabbit hole of mediocrity. So what Reform have set out to do is to make the experience better, but also make it so it's an integrated part of your digital proposition, because a lot of the times these forms, say in the bottom left hand corner, form has been built through whatever Typeform, blah. This is all about sort of giving back control to the brand, the organization. But we're not really interested in the functionality. We're interested in the selling proposition here. You'll have heard me talk extensively about the lean canvas, getting the proposition right, and then communicating it, atomizing it across all your different platforms so that it's consistent. Right. So here, the elevator pitch is clean forms on brand. I think that's a missed opportunity, because what do people want from forms? They want to get better responses. They want to get more responses. And yet the on-brand thing, I can see how that could be your perceived hook, is that people are frustrated that the forms don't look like their website and they want to make them a lot more customizable and tailored to what they're selling. But I still think the core function of a form is to pull from your user the most insightful information or the most saleable information possible, right? What is it that you wanted to elicit? You're wanting to find out more about the customer. You're wanting the customer to complete a transaction. These are all about getting exactly the data that you need so that they've completed their task and you've moved your business forward a little bit. So I said, so instead of clean forms on brand here, I just said, right, why don't we, and this isn't going to look very good at all, so I'm going to go to the form builder. I mean, lovely that would be. There's a couple of things on here, actually. Let me just talk very quickly about this. They charge on a monthly basis. I suggested to the creator over the weekend that they should charge a per form basis, or at least give people the opportunity to choose the plan that best suits their needs, right? I think that's the way they should do it anyway. So I said, ask questions better. Yeah, like that. And clearly the boy's not been doing his HTML work lately, has he? Ask questions better and then get better answers. Yeah. Boom! Forget, I mean, you could put that as the heading. I don't care. I'm not really bothered. If you're that obsessed with clean forms on brand being your tagline, your USP, keep it, boyo. I'm not going to start interfering. Ask questions better, get better answers. That's ultimately the name of the game when it comes to form. So, next. Flutterflow showcase for Product Hunt. Oh, Jesus, what will you build? All the apps below were built Flutterflow. I mean, is this right? Let me see if there is a proper homepage. Build apps effortlessly. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. So this is very much focused on is it focused on a developer audience? My thinking is there's two audiences for Flutterflow. It reminds me a little bit of Love Island and what some of the girls tend to say when they get a bit overexcited and they're chatting with the boys or individually one-on-one, they get a certain kind of flutter. So, right, Flutterflow to me, two audiences. You've either got the newbie or the coder who doesn't really like coding very much, or you've got the person who is super, super keen, is a developer and sees a business opportunity to offer lots more apps, perhaps more cheaply than the competition, so therefore they can be more competitive and they have to lean a lot less heavily on their developer coding skills and therefore get a lot more right a lot more quickly with a lot less errors. So I suppose this is where Flutterflow needs to decide which road they're going down. Are they wanting to go approach the no code community and say, right, here's an alternative to Bubble, so in 5 minutes you can build an app, right? Okay, so but and this is where I think we need to move things around here. This here, right, inspect, you can do Control F11 I think to get into Inspector, right? So I wonder whether this should be more about what's the actual benefit, who's the customer. The customer ultimately is the end user, but the customer that we're talking about right now is the person who's going to be building the apps. So I think a lot of this is about overcoming challenges. It's about saying, okay, well, at the moment I can't build an app because the barrier to entry is coding, and so therefore I think that there'll be a lot of people who marketers maybe who are like, I've got an idea, but unless I spend 50 grand hiring somebody, I'm not going to be able to get this built. So you're thinking, okay, so it's almost like the app is the app is no longer needed. Well, yeah, actually, yeah. So need an app. All you need is 10 minutes, right? But even then, I don't think we're quite there. Even then, I don't think we're quite there, because what's the end goal? It is to provide a great service, to provide a fabulous experience, to build a stronger business. All right. So, what are the reasons people want apps? Well, they will probably want to be more visible. They'll want to provide a more fun experience. So we need to be thinking about all the ways that this app can help people to do more things. So this is probably going to take a bit of thought. I'll probably respond to this on LinkedIn as a dedicated post further downstream. Searchable.ai is next. Too many files in too many places. Stop wasting 20% of your work week clicking through emails, chats, cloud, and storable. Searchable. One search for all your files. I've seen this before. It's like a universal search tool for everything, right? Too many files in too many places works really well. But then we also start talking about emails. So it's a lot about information. So this might be about information overload, yeah? So I would probably start off here. Right, here we go. This is an interesting one. Let's see how we get on with this. Too many files and too many. They've done something funny with this. Tricks word. Ooh. Anyway, so so I can't change it very easily because I'm not that special. I'm not that. What's that Britney Spears one? So I would say, how do you fancy information underwhelm? Right? Or focus on the fact that imagine what you could do with all that time that you're currently spending on searching, right? Too many files in too many places is insipid. It's too generic. What's the pain point? Because this is all about pain and overcoming pain. Too many files in too many places. No, that's not that. That's not that. There's so many more ways that we can improve on that. And lastly, Feedbee. Collect issues, ideas, and feedback on your website effortlessly. Right, okay, feedback. So I'm a big fan of Hotjar. I use Hotjar a lot, which does session recording, heat mapping, anonymously. Very important, GDPR friendly, and it also does feedback. So, if there's a little widget on the bottom right hand corner of your website that says, how did you get on today? What did you think of this page? Did this answer your questions? Did this help you solve the problem? Collect issues. This is too wordy, right? Collect issues, ideas, and feedback on your website effortlessly. Yeah, I get it, and it's simple, but also the other thing we need to remember is it's a long way down the page and all this sort of stuff. This is great, by the way. I like this little GIF. It's great because it shows you a walkthrough of the product, and I think this is really, really cool. But collect ideas, so I would shorten this. This is all about, this is a bit like that thing that we said before about forms is ask questions better. So I would say improve quicker. Improve quicker, win smarter. Yeah, those are two things that everybody wants to do. Right, right. So straight away, what are the two things that you want to do in business? You want to make more money and you want more repeat visitors. One begets the other in reverse. But forms, right? You know that you're here. It's Feedbee, it's feedback. So you know why you've arrived here. You can deal with all that in the SEO to get people here. But the objectives, these aren't about pain points. These are about succeeding quicker. So from a Feedbee standpoint, that's where I think we should be going out with that. Anyway, thank you so much. It's been good to chat. Thanks for joining me. That's me back in the room. If you've got a website that you want me to check out, to break down, to tear down, to smack down, and to improve, you only need to ask. Lovely to see you. I'm Dave Thackeray, at Dave Thackeray on Twitter. Wordandmouth.com is my business, and your business is my business. So let's